you know, it's always intense in relationships, but when you live together, it's more intense. And then if you're like in quarantine, then it's just like the most intense ever possible. Something that she does or doesn't do triggers something in me, and then I'm in this emotional place. Like it activates in you, and then pretty soon it's activated in the other person, because usually it's like this perfect connection where like I would say it's like this creature that, you know, comes alive and takes over you, and then like the other person also, and then you're talking from the creature. Like, so basically it's like all your thoughts and your emotion are feeding on each other. And so I feel like everything that you're saying is somehow wanting to create more of that which you are suffering. All the thoughts that are arising are kind of arising from this pain, and they're actually wanting to cause more pain. All this pain, like, it has nothing to do with this other person, right? Really, this other person has not created this pain. It feels like it. It feels like they did something and then I had the pain. But actually, I already had the pain for like centuries. And this person just comes up and just like, boom, like hits me like right there. And then like pops it open. So then I can like be like, okay, there's this pain. This person triggered it, but she didn't create it. And all these thoughts I'm having have nothing to do with really what's going on, because they're coming from my pain. So what if, and this is like the practice, I can put all the thoughts to the side and just leave them for a moment and just only focus on the pain, the sensation of it. And so if you can like allow yourself to do that and really, really feel it, you can see like it's really not so bad. It's just like, you know, an energy, a movement. And like if you go really into just feeling that, like it's like, you know, maybe it's pulsating, it's on a certain place, how it comes and goes. And if you really focus, then it's like there's really almost nothing wrong. It's almost like it's almost just curious and interesting, and it's just a movement. And then after a while it will pass, like it always does. And so you can speak from another place, and really nothing has changed for it to go away, which is like, I think like really important, because you're always like having this and you kind of want it, you want to get rid of it, and you think you have to do something. But really the only thing you have to do, I feel, is feel it and give it its space to actually exist and be, and then it slowly just passes by.
I feel you. I felt so much resonance with what you were sharing. And I sometimes think of it like if my body were were like drawn against a wall, and there was someone who was like throwing a dart or a little piece of something at like the surface of my body. And it's like wherever there is like stickiness in me, and I literally can feel it viscerally in my cells. It's like something can come and just get caught. Like it's almost like there's like a vibrational, energetic, emotional catching point, like a knot or a burr that it attaches onto.
Yeah,
and then when that happens, like you said, it's like Eckhart Tolle calls it the pain body, or whatever you want to call it. It's like this kind of this place that is agitated and in pain, and it wants to just get more and more of itself.
Yes, absolutely.
So it can never be satisfied. Just letting it run the show leads to more devastation, basically.
Yeah. And also, like, I think it's pretty interesting the way that we couple with people that, you know, we activate each other. One of the main things that we find attractive, like we're actually attracted to someone who's gonna like throw that dart perfectly there.
Right place.
And we're gonna do it for them too. And then you're like, okay, let's get together.
You're the one. You're the one.
I like it, you know. And then you're doing it constantly, but it's because it's for your healing, right? I mean, the whole point is that at some point this pain was created somewhere in childhood, and basically you're repeating it over and over. I mean, it's getting triggered over and over again, so you can heal it, and healing it is basically accepting it, right? And so this person is gonna go like heal, 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 but you're gonna be like, no.
Doing that to me, it fucking hurts. I don't like it.
And then sometimes you get in crazy fights, and sometimes you leave. But many times you go into another relationship, and then it's there again, going like right there, same place, because it's all yours, right?
Right.
It's what you brought, right? It's like when you go into that emotion and you continue to feed off it and have a discussion. Sometimes you like become the age of when that got created, right? So you're suddenly like a 5-year-old or a 7-year-old, and maybe the other person went into their pain and they were like 12. So it's like a 5-year-old talking to a 12-year-old, and not understanding each other at all.
My most recent romantic relationship, I remember getting so angry at him sometimes, like so frustrated. And one time I was meditating about it and receiving some guidance around it. And that was literally the image that came, was like, okay, here's Chris, my ex. It's like, he's like I saw him as this little toddler, this little Costa Rican toddler. And then there was me as like a toddler Lindsey. And it was like, we were these two little babies who like, he'd stolen my toy, and I like whacked him on the head, and he pulled my hair, and we were just like so angry. Like it was just this place of like this wounded, like this little kid who's just getting upset. And in my meditation, I remember my guidance was like, in walked to the room a bigger, taller version of me wearing like a long blue skirt, and like an adult version of him, like this beautiful, handsome version of him. And it was almost like I was being guided to like, right now you're acting like a toddler, like seeing him as a toddler, but look up, like look up to his higher self, and come from your higher self. And it's almost like when I'm able to tap in or open my spiritual aperture enough to allow more love, more light to flow through me, I'm able to like come from that place of my higher self, the unconditionally loving and wise version of myself. And I can see, like, it's not a question of not seeing like the bad behavior or like the screaming kid, because that's also what's happening. But it's like, how can I see that and also see beyond it to the fundamentally complete and glorious person that this person is, even though they have this wounding, and I do too.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I do that many times as seeing people as a child when they're maybe in this place. I think that helps me a lot, because then it's like you completely understand. I mean, if it was a child who was doing that, you're just like, it's just a child. I mean, so you see that wounded child, but I love that to also see the greatness and the higher self right there at the same time. That's beautiful.
Right. And how when I'm able to tap into that in myself and someone else, I can start to call upon that more, that not better, but like that other version of this person. And in this particular instance, I remember like texting with him afterwards and being like, okay, I can go into my toddler, my screaming toddler here, or like I can kind of open the door to invite him into the best version of him, like invite him into his own grace, basically. Invite him into his own generosity or beauty. It's like, I see that in you, I know it's there, and rather than like showing you how you're wrong or bad, can I hold space to open the door? And maybe you don't walk through it, maybe you can't walk through it, you're in so much pain right now that you're not able to access that bigger part of you. But when I'm able to see it and hold it, despite like the reality that's presenting, I feel like so much transformation for that other person and for me is possible in that moment.
Yeah.
because I'm like holding enough light and space for them to like reconnect to the bigger part of themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. That when you hold this pain, so this like this baby, and you give all your love to this creature, um, it also becomes like it melts into this higher self. So it like yeah, it melts and becomes one, and then like this higher self is also like expanded because of it. So it's like all this energy that was like trapped into this suddenly with the quarantine. Well, it's like part of what's happening in this moment is that we have been given this chance to go into our things more intensely. It's pretty perfect in a way. We're like giving this push, like go more intense and get into it. Like that's how it felt for me, at least. Like this is what I need. This is what I have to be working on.
It's like the universe is holding a giant mirror very
Right.
close to our faces, and we're like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
Oh
Like,
man,
you will see it. You cannot leave your kitchen. You will see what's happening.
exactly. You can't go have your food if you don't see yourself. You can't go to sleep. You know, like yeah, you gotta see yourself.
Yeah.
You know, at some point you're, you know, something upsets you, and then yeah, like it's because of something the other person did, and then suddenly you're like in the exact opposite role, and like it's like the exact same thing, but the other person did it, and you're like, you know, on the other side, and then you're like, it's crazy. We're just doing the same thing to each other and hating it. And we like see it.
It's like, no, I hate when you do that. Like, no, I hate when you do that. So horrible.